to designer fine jewellery, there are a couple of names that always crop up, okay? Two of those being Cartier and Van Cleef and Arpels, both of which are owned by Richemont, that is their parent company. And let's be honest, we all know that 2024, it's been a rough go for luxury, okay? A lot of brands are out here going, our growth hasn't been great, we've actually not grown, blah, 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 this is what we're trying to do to change it, all of that. Richemont said, I can't relate. They came out with their Q3 2024 financials, basically boasting their highest ever quarterly sales at 6.2 billion euros. Richemont have three divisions. They have watches, jewellery and fashion, all of which did pretty well, but I really wanted to focus on the jewellery side of things particularly, and let's just have a chat about how these brands manage to stay on top, even in times when everyone else is suffering. Guys, if you're new here, my name is Cassie, and I'm a self-diagnosed luxury addict. I put out videos on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, so if you like luxury fashion, then you're probably gonna love it here. So head on there, subscribe, turn on the bell, become a member of our luxury addicted family. When are we going to rehab? Never. Before we jump into the jewellery, I did just want to very quickly highlight one of the fashion brands that were called out as having positive growth and contributing towards the great sales this last quarter, having contributed 7% in growth in the fashion division. Alaïa. Alaïa under Peter Moulier, I think I pronounced that right, let me know if I haven't, has just gone from strength to strength. I think that it's a brand that a lot of people, I think on first inspection it can look quite simple, right? It's semi-minimalist, but it's got a bit of flair to it. But the techniques and the innovation behind some of the pieces, sodden skirts that stand up by themselves, 3D printed wraparound dresses that look like those, you remember those slap bracelets that, you know, we all used to, where are they now? That's the question. But those sorts of things, there was a picture that Peter recently posted of them completely sitting up on their own. It's incredible, right? And crucially, it's a brand that also has quality to back it up. They also now have hero products, right? The products that people have come to know and associate the brand with, but also the products that have helped introduce a whole new range of new Alaïa shoppers to the brand, right? You've got 2023 was the year of the Alaïa ballet flats. It continued into 2024. Some of them had grommets, some of them had crystals. There were mesh versions. There were so many different varieties. You also had in 2023 the liqueur bag, which I felt like was the first Alaïa bag in a long time to really have eyes on it, to really have a level of popularity at a pretty decent price point compared to a lot of designer bags on the market. 2024 also saw the Alaïa Teckle become one of the hottest bags of the year. They're doing a really, really great job of increasing their brand awareness, like I said, luring in new Alaïa customers. So I'm absolutely not surprised, and I hope to only hear more of them. But let's get into the jewellery side of things. So Richemont have 4 jewellery houses under their parentage. Okay, so you've got Cartier, Van Cleef and Arpels, Buccellati and Vhernier. So all of these also have very different aesthetics. They don't sort of cross over a lot of the time. Hear me out. By the way, all of those together have a 14% combined growth, and they really put it down to 2 things, which was classic timeless pieces and also novelties, seasonal variations and all of that. So that's part of what I'm going to get into. We know the Cartier, we know the Van Cleef. Okay, we have a decent level of knowledge of their popular pieces and all of that. I just want to give a little bit of background on Buccellati and Vhernier, just so that we're all on a bit of a decent playing field with all of these. Buccellati is an Italian fine jewellery brand, and that has a very distinct style. It's very inspired by like the Renaissance and the Middle Ages, which is why you'll see a lot of this like gold filigree going on. There's a lot more intricacies with their designs compared to something like Cartier. Their most popular ranges are the Opera Tool. I'm not gonna lie, I would pick that over a Van Cleef Alhambra. That is their answer to the Alhambra range, but instead of it being done with stones, they do it with enamel, so it's golden enamel, or the one stone that they do is mother of pearl, and it's sort of like caged in. It's very interesting. It is that sort of similar four-leaf cloverish shape, but it has all of these little ornate designs and almost like a baroque edge to it that I really like. They do it in green, red, blue, gold, and the mother of pearl. Bracelets, pendants, rings, brooches. Imagine, oh, it would just be so fabulous. White shirt, brooch on each collar, matching, or even different color, one different color. Love. Anyway, all of a sudden piqued my interest. Am I interested in an opera tool? Little something, maybe. I like it a lot. They start at 2,700 euros, and then the other popular range that they have is the Macri, which is this sort of textured matte gold that's used, studded with diamonds and little gold beads here and there. Almost looks like a night sky being worn on the wrist or in the ears or around the neck. Again, you're sort of looking at a similar price point, $2,800 for that. Then you have the newest jewellery brand under Richemont, and also in terms of age, going back to when they were founded. Vhernier was founded in 1984, and this is again an Italian fine jewellery brand, and it's very modern compared to the others. It's a lot of chunky gold pieces, very statementy, very bold, and a lot of heft when it comes to gold, and then the diamonds are just, you know, sort of pavé or studded in there or whatever. But this is not a subtle stacking brand. This is a brand that, like, you have a sodding massive glob of gold on your finger, and then you look down the side and it's studded with diamond. Very nice. Very nice. Depending on what you're after there, you can get their main range, which is I think the Cala, sort of starts around $1,470, right? They start. So now we're on a bit of a level playing field of knowledge across all of the jewellery brands. What has contributed to the double-digit growth? Number one is the evolution of the classics. I'm going to focus on the big two here, Cartier and Van Cleef specifically, because I think that they do this very well. These are brands that are popular because of how classic and timeless their core ranges are. The Love, the Juste Clou, the Alhambra, the Perlé, all of these things, right? When it comes to fine jewellery, there is a level of safety with classic pieces. Your money feels safe, it's timeless, it's not going to go out of style, right? They know that this is why their clients keep coming back. But these brands also have loyalists, devotees to these ranges or the brand specifically, and the evolution of these ranges or adding more elements keeps people coming back. It's not just, I bought a love bracelet one time and that's it sort of thing, I've moved on. Well, you know, not for some people. Some examples of this, the Juste Clou last year was released. They'd done the slim version, I think in 2023, they released the slim version in white gold with and without diamonds now. You also have, same thing with the slim version for the rings. On the other end of the spectrum, they now do the Juste Clou XL Clou necklace. It's just like a huge sort of nail pendant there. The Love bracelet now comes in a Goldilocks size. So you had the slim and you had the sort of regular size. There's now a medium that goes in between that. They also now do it in brushed gold with diamonds. Before it was just the brushed gold, no diamonds. So you can see sort of how they're expanding these ranges bit by bit. The Clash de Cartier now has a longer necklace version and a sort of offshoot of the range that's made with, hold on, chrysoprase? Why did I sing it? Not sure what that is, but I will have its word and what it looks like on the screen. Please let me know any pronunciation. Thank you so much. So these are almost like Sims expansion packs, you know? You've got the standard Sims, you've got a sodding Juste Clou bracelet, right? But you would like to add the Seasons expansion pack. You know, let me add a little ring here and a this and a that and whatever, right? So you can see how this keeps people interested, keeps people coming back. In 2024, the very classic Trinity range by Cartier celebrated its 100th year anniversary by releasing the range in a box design. So it's square instead of circular, but again, you have these intertwined 3 elements, each in the different colours of gold, bracelets, necklaces, probably earrings, all of that. Same thing with the watches. Cartier watches have been the talk of the town on social media for the last few years. If it's not been the Cartier Panther watch that everybody seems to have on their wish list, then it's the Banois bangle watch as well. So they've sort of seen this popularity, and now the Panther also comes in a large size, and there's sort of different limited edition variations of it as well. These are all pieces that we can all sit here and agree that they're classics. But the other element that has contributed to the success of these brands are the novelties. These are the sort of seasonal, limited edition pieces that again get people coming back, whether it is because you are a collector, whether it is because you want something a little bit special, a little bit more limited, whatever, right? Van Cleef has a great example of this. They have their holiday pendant every year. I did a video going into Van Cleef in a little bit more depth. I'll have that link below. Basically, every year they have a holiday pendant. It's only out for a limited time and only in this one specific variation, right? So in 2024, it was a combination of white gold and rose gold guilloche? Guilloche? The pronunciation in this video is probably atrocious. Just gonna blanket apology for all of that, okay? Again, this lends itself to a level of collectability, a level of Pokemon-ish desire, right? Got to catch them all. And like, yes, there are some people who will, just like every year they've got to get the holiday pendant. That has contributed to the success of these brands. I mentioned the Cartier Trinity Anniversary Collection. They also released something called the Animal Instincts Collection as an offshoot of this, which is basically, again, you've got those 3 rings, but each one is a different animal. So you have a tiger, a panther in its spots, and then you also have a snake, which I thought was kind of fabulous. There's diamonds. It's at a completely different price point than the normal Trinity range. But if you are a Cartier devotee who appreciates those one-off, more limited edition pieces, then my gosh, foaming at the mouth you would be. Similar thing with the watches. They have these almost like high jewelry level watches that are just so over the top and art pieces, truly. You've got like a crocodile that's just like encrusted in diamonds, and there's a tiger as well. I mean, it's crazy. And then on the more sort of, I'm not even going to call it approachable price point, but on the lower price point, you've got limited edition versions of the Cartier Santos with a carnelian face. You've also got the Cartier Santos Dumont in really beautiful colours, okay? And I've never been one for a Cartier watch, but that one yes, please. There's a grey, there's a green, there's a teal, the strap and then the face, and oh gosh, it just pops beautifully. The grey platinum version, I believe there are only 200 worldwide. Here's the thing, whether or not we think we are immune to, and some people, yes, do not care about the limited editionness of pieces and, you know, think it's a marketing ploy, and to a certain extent it is, right? But I am somebody that appreciates those limited edition, interesting pieces that feel unique, right? So again, other people tend to respond to this, which is why it has contributed to the growth. Something to also note is that a lot of these pieces, while classic, are also currently trending, right? So for example, gold watches are something that is currently trendy to wear and whatever. So this leans into it. So I do think there is an element of capitalizing on what people are really looking at now specifically. But it is also a classic piece. So it just seems to happen that, do you want to know what? Sometimes the stars align. The stars have aligned, and now we're seeing the growth. Another reason, and I sort of mentioned this previously, is value. It is no secret that the price increases in luxury fashion, we are seeing them, we are feeling them, we are not very happy about them, right? And it has come to a point where the price ranges of luxury fashion items are now in a similar price range to the fine jewellery that people are trading off or going, okay, instead of spending this much on a bag, I could buy a pair of earrings. There is an inherent, or there's a more widely accepted value that comes along with fine jewellery that I think luxury fashion doesn't have. For example, right, let's take a budget of $3,000, all right? For $3,000, you can get a Cartier small love ring with diamonds, or a classic Juste un Clou ring. You could also get a classic Trinity ring. You could get a vintage Alhambra pendant in yellow gold from Van Cleef. You could get a Buccellati opera tool pendant, or a Vhernier Cala whip ring. Or you could get a Bottega Veneta long Andiamo clutch, or a Prada belted shoulder bag. So people are now sitting there making those decisions going, okay, well, in times of uncertainty, there is a much more accepted value in fine jewelry than there is in handbags. So I'm going to move my money over here. And again, I think that that's helped a lot. The final thing, which I think is a really big reason that might have fallen by the wayside, is consistent luxury experience. We know this. I'm not the biggest Cartier and Van Cleef fan and all of that. I have, you know, a couple of Cartier pieces, but it's not necessarily a brand that I particularly feel loyal to or keep going back to. However, one thing that is so obvious when people share their experiences with these luxury brands is the level of special that they feel during the purchasing experience. Right? I want to particularly focus on in-store because online is a bit harder to execute. But in-store, it's not just, hi, I want this, great, they put it in a nice box, they send you on their way. And we know that there's varying experiences when it comes to luxury fashion houses and experiences in store, right? But I would say generally, from my knowledge, people sharing their experiences with me and all of that, when it comes to, let's say Cartier in particular, but Van Cleef is extremely similar. You go in, you have, you say, this is the item I would like. Wonderful, come and sit down. Here's some drinks, here's champagne, here's a little cute little chocolate from La Maison du Chocolat, one of the best chocolate houses in the world, if you ask me, okay? Sit down, it's an experience. It's it feels very intimate. It does not feel as transactional as a lot of luxury fashion experiences, right? And even then, when you've bought your item, it is beautifully wrapped with a little wax seal situation. You get a separate little folder thing for your little documents and authenticity cards. You maybe get a box of chocolates or a bottle of champagne or whatever to accompany it. It feels like a celebration of the experience, and that is something that should be more consistent in luxury shopping. And it's a reason why people keep going back. I'm not saying that people are addicted to the experience and whatever, but if you are going to spend your money on a luxury item, I don't blame you for wanting to go where you feel treated like a princess. So I think that that is also a factor that a lot of these, definitely Van Cleef and Cartier, execute very well. And it keeps you coming back. Another sort of factor to throw in there, again, especially with Cartier and Van Cleef, is the history of these brands. Both of these brands were founded in the 1800s. And again, when it comes to fine jewelry, a lot of people like a track record, a piece of history on their wrist or finger or whatever. There's a timelessness. You know that it's been around for a while. You've not seen it go out of style in your lifetime, all of that. If you're going to be spending 10 grand on a bracelet, then you might want to have that in the back of your mind. So I think that that does also play a factor into why these brands are always the go-to. There's a level of trust and experience associated with these brands that does help in times like these. Anyway, those are my theories on why Van Cleef and Cartier are doing particularly well. That is outside of social media and social media singing their praises left, right and centre. Again, my Van Cleef video goes into that in a little bit more detail, but this is outside of that why I think they do well. Let me know what your thoughts are. I'm going to leave a link to another video over here in case you haven't already seen it. Have an amazing morning, afternoon or evening wherever you are, and in the words of my father,
if you've enjoyed it, tell your friends. If you haven't, keep your mouth shut.
I'll see you in my next video. Mwah. Bye guys.